Hi, everybody. So I wanted to talk about a couple things about building relationships, how we build the relationships, how we sustain relationships. There have been so many great comments about what we can do in the workplace to make a relationship that's conducive. So there's a couple that I want to highlight based on what I've read and also somewhat of our materials have alluded to. First, almost impossible to have a relationship that people don't like each other. It's just almost impossible. And so the first thing you have to do is figure out what you can do to get the other person to like you. Now, in our personal lives, we often say, well, don't worry about if somebody doesn't like you. Don't be friends with somebody who doesn't like you back. But in the business world, to a degree, we really got to try to figure out what we can do to get people to like us. Because if people like you, you'll get so many passes in life. And so the first thing about creating relationships is you got to get people to like you. The second as important thing is it has to be mutually beneficial. In building relationships, sustaining relationships, transferring relationships, relaying relationships, whatever it has to do with relationships, for the most part, especially over the long term, people have to benefit from that relationship. And whether it's benefit personally, emotionally, psychologically, financially, whatever it may be, they have to benefit. They have to get some benefit out of being in a conversation with you. And so for that reason, that is one of the most important things that you can do in creating relationships. Finally, trust. Trust, believability, whatever you want to call it, honesty. There's a great saying that goes something like, trust once lost is almost irreplaceable. It's almost impossible to gain. So you have to have a level of trust. That goes to likability, but when you give your word, you keep it. When you state a promise, you keep it. And that's what we mean by trust. So those are the three things based on what I'm reading so far. I wanted to give you a quick video on what we need to do really to sustain these kinds of relationships. And so they have to be likable. You certainly have to be mutually beneficial, and there has to be some element of trust. With that, I hope the discussion helps a little bit. If anything, it certainly helps us to move forward in what we want to do with this different perspective. Education is about perspective. So hopefully this perspective helps you and helps you coalesce in some of your own thoughts about what it takes to create these kinds of relationships. As always, I look forward to chatting with you. Till the next time, take care.